When you think about all the records, the hit singles that Ludacris had, sometimes I think to myself like, dang, Ludacris has some hits.
And I wanna move from the bed down to the floor. And I wanna, you make it so good, I don't wanna leave.
Okay, let's talk about What's Your Fantasy. At this time, when this single dropped, Ludacris was a radio host at a radio station in Atlanta, Georgia. A hip-hop radio station called Hot 97.5, which is now today Hot 107.9. And at this time, he didn't have a whole lot of money in his pocket. He was just really into the music and just trying to make ends meet day by day. Showing up to work every single day, just waiting for his opportunity to come into play. And that's when What's Your Fantasy was born. What's Your Fantasy was produced by a guy named Bangladesh, who was actually Ludacris's barber at the time. Ludacris had a choice to make. Although he had two songs that was produced, one by Bangladesh, which is the song you just heard, What's Your Fantasy, and the other song was called Game Got Switched, which was produced by Organized Noise, who already was established and was popping in the streets at that time. They had songs with like Outkast, Goody Mob, and many others. So Ludacris just couldn't decide which one of these songs should he drop first. What's Your Fantasy or Game Got Switched? Ludacris knew deep down inside that What's Your Fantasy was a hit. Not saying that the song by Organized Noise wasn't, but he had the feeling deep down in his heart that dropping What's Your Fantasy would take his career out into the streets and hit hard every time it plays in the club. So he trusts his vision, trust his heart, his judgment, prayed on it, and dropped What's Your Fantasy.
Cadillac grills, Cadillac mills. Check out the oil my Cadillac spills.
In 2001 came the hit single Southern Hospitality. It was like the last minute for him to put out this album. It was coming to a deadline and he had to find the right single to launch this album. He linked up with superstar producer Pharrell Williams to put together a hit single. When he first heard the beat, he just thought it was, okay. Him and Pharrell went back and forth on whether this was a smash hit. Pharrell tried to convince him like, bro, this is this hit. This is it right here. But Ludacris was just, he wasn't really feeling it like that. He ended up going outside and writing his rhyme while he was sitting in the car. Came back in the studio, laced the rhyme, listened to the beat with the rhyme. Him and Pharrell created the song, created the hook. They listened again, and Ludacris still didn't think it was a smash hit. But guess what? He was wrong. This was a smashing hit. During the making of this music video, Ludacris says he just eaten 45 minutes ago before being placed upside down to rap to this video. And yes, best believe all the good food he ate that day ended up on the ground. But Ludacris, being the hustler as he is, after everything came up and went down, he was ready to go another round. In 2001, another hit single dropped on the scenes. It was called Area Codes.
I got hoes in different area codes.
Ludacris explains how this song came about. He says, traveling and touring the past two hit singles that he had, he was picking up a bunch of numbers in different area codes. Ludacris admits that he was definitely talking to a lot of females in all these different cities, to a point where he had to mentally remember where they were from, which he identified with the area codes. So he got used to seeing all these different area codes in the different cities he was picking these females up from. One day while on tour, Ludacris and his team was sitting in the back of the tour bus when one of the fellas was like, oh, who's this hitting me? What's the 305 number? And Ludacris was like, yo, that's Miami. Another time, somebody said, hey, yo, what's this 718 number? Ludacris was like, New York. So Ludacris knew all the area codes. And that's what made him come up with the idea of dropping a song called Area Codes. All the area codes that he had holds. After coming up with the idea of dropping a song called Area Codes, Ludacris had to get Nate Dogg on the track. He sent the track to Nate Dogg And when Ludacris got the song back with Nate Dogg on it and listened to it, he was like, oh yeah, this is another smash hit. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. He definitely put the icing on this one. Rollout. Rollout came about when Ludacris was trying to find that next hit, that next banger to keep him on the hip hop map. He struggled with his record company because they was like, no, we need a single. And that terminology back in the day mean they need something commercial. So Ludacris needed to come up with something that doesn't sell him out, still sound kind of mainstream, but still kind of keep him grounded in the hip hop scene. And that's when he came up with Rollout, which was a smash. But it didn't start there. It started with the music video. The music video was really set it off to make it blossom. And what happened was when they did the Rollout music video, Ludacris brought it to the record label, but they just wasn't feeling it. They were like, it's okay, but this ain't what we're looking for. So Ludacris came up with the idea of putting a big bobblehead onto his body while he was rapping, and that's what turned Rollout into a smashing #1 hit. Good idea, Luda. That definitely sold that song.
Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way.
This next hit single is called Move, Bitch. This right here was a smash when it came out. And Ludacris explains how this song came about. He was sitting in traffic and people were just jumping in front of him, staying there. He was trying to get where he needed to go. And he was just like, move, bitch, trying to get to where he gotta go. And he thought about it, was like, yo, that could be a dope song. So Ludacris went back to the pen and the pad, wrote down some lyrics, and that's when it came about with Move, Bitch. He also explains that this is one of the best songs to perform on stage because that's his time where he gets to relax and get paid for it. Because he says fans does all the singing. He lets them do the whole song. So Move Bitch 2002 was another banger by Ludacris.
Oh, you just came home from doing a bid. Tell me what you gon' do. Act a fool.
This next single was on the Fast and Furious soundtrack. It's called Act a Fool. Came out in 2003. Now this right here was a special one for Ludacris because it pretty much changed his whole life and put him on a whole different path in this whole game, the entertainment game. But instead of me breaking it down on how this whole thing went about, I'm gonna let Luda tell you how it went down.
I was on tour with Eminem at the time, and I got a call from John Singleton. He had hit my agent, and then they put me on the phone with him, and he said he wanted me to try out for Too Fast, Too Furious. Like, he's sending me the dialogue and the sides that I have to perform in front of, and he's like, I really need this within this certain amount of time, so it was a rush. I'm about to go on stage on the Eminem tour in like 40 minutes. So I'm going through these lines, we go get a camera, I'm kind of studying the stuff, put myself on camera and do the lines.
Talking about traps, cops and robbers. It's 911, please call the doctor.
Next day I get the call that I got the part. That all happened within 24 hours. The craziest shit that ever happened in my life. John Singleton kind of gave me the whole premise and told me this is what we need, and we went in the studio and made it happen. Later on to find out that Ja Rule was the one that was supposed to have the role, and something worked out where he wasn't able to make it happen, and I was the next person in line. So when you hear people say sloppy seconds, sometimes it could be a life-changing experience. I don't look at it as a bad term, especially sitting here in front of you right now. I'll take sloppy seconds any day if it means I'm gonna be in 7 Fast and Furious movies. You know, one of my fondest memories of that is shooting that video and having the cast of Fast and Furious be so much a part of it. Paul Walker and everybody, and if you go look at it, it's just fun. You could just instantly tell nobody forced anybody to have any type of fun in there. We just had fun, period. And I bought that car, man, that was in the movie and also in that video. It was like a Louis Vuitton painted Dodge Ram truck or something like that. I probably was able to drive it one time in Atlanta down the road before I had a whole fleet complete of the whole city following me in it. And then I was like, I gotta get rid of this car or I gotta paint it a different color because there's no way that I want this much attention that I thought I wanted at first.
So there you have it. Ludacris explains how he got into the movies, how when you were offered an opportunity and you don't jump on it right away, that could be the ticket, the flight, the private jet that you could have been on.
Stand up! Stand up! Stand up!
This right here was another club banger, produced by the one and only Kanye West. It was called Stand Up. This was definitely a banger in the clubs back in the days. I'ma let Ludacris tell you about this one.
We were in this studio called Doppler Studio in Atlanta, Georgia. Doom, 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 And you know, it's so dope to think about this memory because it was literally just me, Kanye, and an engineer. He had his ASR 10 with him. He goes and gets these samples. There are not many sounds in this song. It might be like 6 sounds, but he's so particular when it comes to sonics that to think about how that can become a hit song because how things pierce through the speakers in a certain way and making sure that every sound is perfect lets you know how great of a producer and how much he pays to every detail. And I just remember just being in the studio, man, and it was just like, stand up. It just came to me. And again, I went in the car and then I started writing the first verse. That was a record where I was like, I know this is a hit record. And I remember Irv Gotti coming up to us because we were all in the Def Jam building at the same time. That record came out. Irv Gotti was like, yo, that's what a first single's supposed to sound like, man. And you know, we didn't get that much love from everybody until they started embracing you over time. I was the only Southern artist in this building. Everybody else is New York out. DMX is in there, Jay-Z, Ja Rule, Murder Inc., you know what I mean, Rockefeller. It was all New York. So that one Stand Up came out, it was like, we embrace you. Welcome to New York.
I pulled up with 1,000,000 trucks, looking, smelling, feeling like $1,000,000.
What I remember the most about the making of that video, Dave Myers, man, who I love to work with so much, he just is able to take a vision and take it to the next level. You know, that big ass shoe, the little person hanging from my necklace. I remember being on the video set and somebody coming up to me, he was a little person, and he said, just so you know, midget is a derogatory term. You shouldn't say that, it's little people. And I learned a lesson that day, man, and it was a very valuable lesson.
Now, this next hit single was a single that was played on every radio station in every single club. And that song is called Yeah, with Usher featuring Ludacris. I'ma let Ludacris explain this one.
Take that, rewind it back. Usher got the voice to make your booty go.
Man, Lil Jon sent me the record, you know, with Usher's lyrics on there. Another record instantly, as soon as I heard it, I was in my house in Atlanta. Instantly, I was like, this out of here. It took me no time to write my verse for it. And I was like, this such a smash, I gotta be on more than just a verse. So take that, rewind it back, put that at the beginning and at the end, and they kept it in the end. So I was like, I'm on this record. First Grammy, first BET Hip Hop Award, man, because I had been in all these categories all these years, wasn't winning any awards. That was the first one.
Now, this is just a few of the hit songs that Ludacris did. Of course, he had a bunch of bangers out there. And if you're a Ludacris fan, I know that you know a few that I missed. So leave it down below and maybe I'll do a part 2.
Welcome to Atlanta, hammers and bows, back to the mackin' and the clothes, adolescents packing up.
Dupree helped me get my start. A lot of people don't realize that Madden 2000, I was the first rapper to be on a video game rapping, and he was the one that gave me that opportunity. So to come full circle to get the record Welcome to Atlanta, that was absolutely amazing. And now, you know, you fast forward 20 years, that is also a staple, not only for the city of Atlanta, it's brought so much tourism and money to the city, but for you to specify one city and then to go around the world and do the record and people are just as excited about it and you're not in that city that you're speaking about speaks volumes about how much a record is loved when you're saying welcome to Atlanta and you in New York.
My name is Antwoine, and that's what's up.